I have my technical team sitting at the other side of the table, taking care of your questions immediately. The agenda for today, I want to give a quick overview of the developments we did in 2020, which is for, I think, all of you, including Crosspoint, a very, very, very strange year. But I do want to give you an overview of what we have done so far and what we're going to do later this year. I'm going to talk also a little bit about the satellite receivers for the ARGUS floor system. And then my colleague Benjamin will guide you through the ARGUS loop system. And then we will talk about also what is the target group that you should aim for with this product, some frequently asked questions, and of course any other question coming in from you. As I mentioned, and let me first start to express our hopes that you all still are in good health, your loved ones, yourself, and I also hope that you were able to minimize the impact of the corona on your business. But I understand, and we have seen that also in Crosspoint, that the impact can be quite heavy. Nevertheless, as you can see, we continued investing in our future. We continued investing in new developments. We started the year by adding the satellite antennas to the ARGUS floor. The satellite antennas, which we have to use also for the ARGUS loop system. We will come to that in a short. Then we moved, or we also, in a short notice of time, we were able to bring to the market a visitor flow management. As most of you have seen in their own territory, suddenly retailers were confronted with limited number of consumers on the sales floor, and by using our existing counters in antennas, or adding extra 3D or IR counters, we were able to provide a tool, a management tool to the staff of the store to help them in controlling the flow of consumers. We did have in the month of April and May, and also going into the month of June, quite some successes in several countries with this product, and I wanted to thank those partners who immediately embraced this solution and installed, or at least introduced that to the market. And then today we're launching the ARGUS loop system. We've been talking about this for those who have visited our booth in Euroshop. They already could see a first prototype of the product. Since then, we have done some installations. We did some alpha testing, and we're ready to launch, which is going to happen this week. But I also want to show you that we keep on pushing, we keep on investing in our future, in our developments, and so we will soon, in the during Q3 and 4, we will also launch a new Plexus antenna, a Plexus AM antenna. We also plan to launch our Fortus RFID/EAS antenna, so an EAS RFID ready solution. And hopefully we will be able to launch by the end of the year our new platform of acoustomagnetic systems and technology. Let me start with talking to you or giving some insights in the satellite receivers for the ARGUS floor. For those who already installed this ARGUS floor system, you have noticed that if you go to, and a typical installation. In this case, typical installation, it's with 2 times TRX loop and 2 times an RX loop at the outside of the entrance, both left and right. You could notice that there was a significant drop of the detection height, especially when you are working with DR labels. It's less obvious or less visible when you are using hard text, but definitely when you're using DR labels, disposable labels, you could see a drop of detection height going to the outskirts of the entrance of the store where the system is installed. So what we have done is we have used the satellite receivers that were that are part initially. The plan was to add these to the loop system, and you will see them in a minute. But by using these same satellite antennas, we were able to increase substantially the height of detection with the R labels of the ARGUS floor system. So by adding 2 times 2 satellites, and you can see a detailed photo of these satellite receivers left and right of the store, you can increase the detection height. These satellite antennas are very slick, very slim, not that big, only 60 millimeters depth and 43 millimeters thick. This is a very nice looking product, and you don't have to mount it visibly. You can also mount it behind walls or frames at the entrances, but please, as this is technology, make sure that you always have access to those receivers. You never know that sometimes in the future you need to have access to these elements. So you have the satellite, so you have the ARGUS floor system installed, typical installation you see here in this drawing, and then you add 2 pairs of these satellite receivers. We recommend them to apply them at the height being described in this drawing. It's also part of the, it's being described also in our technical manual. And so by adding these satellite antennas, you will get the result as I have showed you a couple of slides before. So we're talking about the ARGUS family. We launched last year the ARGUS floor system, and we were quite successful, especially in the Middle East region, North Africa. We have been installing quite some of these antennas. Also in other parts of the world, we were able to sell these systems. Typical Crosspoint, very much into design. We do take care of the look and feel of our products, and I wanted to emphasize again the components here. You have a controller who is roughly the size of a sheet of paper. I recommend you, or I invite you to have a look to the controls of some of our competitors, well, and compare the design and the look and feel of those power packs and controls with the one we have designed here. And I think you will absolutely agree with me that we have done a very good job in the design and the look and feel of this piece of technology. The controller is created to both support the floor and the loop system. So it's the same controller that we use for these 2 concealed ES solutions. There are a couple of things that we need to keep in mind, and that definitely your sales team or your technical team will look at it when they are talking to customers. The distance between the power supply and the control unit cannot be longer than 5 meters. The distance between the control unit and the antenna, which is a shielded cable, which is a special cable, so can be maximum 10 meters. And the distance between the control unit and the satellite receiver, maximum also 10 meters. Please keep that in mind when you are planning a installation with your customers. So I will hand over the microphone to my colleague Benjamin, who will give you some some insight into our ARGUS loop system. Benjamin.
Yes, thank you, Lieven. Good morning and welcome everybody from my side. Let's go ahead with more details about our ARGUS loop system. Our brand new ARGUS loop system is a fully integrated loss prevention solution. Even if your customer does not want to have any visible antennas in the entrance or checkout area, the loop system can be an option next to our already existing ARGUS floor system. The external control unit notifies EAS alarms. There are different selectable, visible or audible alarm types available. Also for a text to close notification and the jammer detection as well. If your customer, if somebody, for example, tries to fool the system. So if you also want to have people counting available, as you usually have by using standard antennas, you can do this by adding a crosspoint 3D camera counter to this solution. Now let's have a closer look on the technical details of the AM loop system. On the left side you see a draft of an entrance or exit of a retail store. Next to the ARGUS control unit and the PSU, you see a small connector box on the top of the door, here highlighted in blue. In this box, the shielded cable that comes from the control unit and the TRX loop cable are connected with each other. This box can be mounted everywhere around the corners of the door frame, but it is recommended to put it this small box as close as possible to the loop itself. Please note, this small connector box is not included in our set. Later in this webinar, we will share a picture how this small connector box can look like. The black stroked line that you see in the picture shows the TRX loop cable that starts at this small connector box and goes around the full entrance or exit and back to the connector box again. Now a closer look on the loop antenna and the loop cable itself and the door frame. This entrance has the maximum height and width that can be covered with our ARGUS loop system. What is 9 square meters or a maximum cable length in total of 12 meters around the corners of the door frame. It is not recommended to extend the length of the loop cable, as you will rapidly lose power and detection performance by doing that. So compared to our ARGUS floor system, we are limited in the width that can be secured with the loop system depending on the height of the entrance. So please let me show this context in another example that will follow now. The maximum loop cable length is about 12 meters. If your entrance or exit measures, for example, a height of 250 in height, you can cover up to 350 in width. The calculation under the picture makes the context between height and width clearer. Reducing 12 meters by 2 times 250 meters of height, you will have 7 meters of cable length left. So for the floor and the top level of the door, you can cover maximum 350 in the width. The loop cable itself is only 7.5 millimeters thick and can be mounted in the wall, in the door frame, or in a separate mounted cable conduit on top of it. On floor level, you only need a small or a thin slit in the floor, or a prepared tube to implement the antenna cable in the floor. What you see in the blue rectangle is an option you have in case you want the system to detect earlier in an exit or checkout area. By running the cable on floor level in a semicircle up to 50 centimeters in the store, from one side of the door to the other side, you will pull the detection window of the labels or hard text more into the shop. But please consider, by doing that, tagged items that are placed near the exit area will be detected earlier too. And please remember the calculation of the maximum length of the loop cable. This will also reduce the maximum length that is available to cover the full entrance in height and width. Now let's have a look on the door frame and the door material itself. If your door frame or surface of the wall contains metal, please make some tests before installing the loop. In most cases, you will see that the tuning of the system will be much better by adding a distance between the metal and the loop cable. The material that you can use in order to create some space between the loop cable and the door frame should be free out of metal, of course. Another important component of our AM loop system are the satellite receivers that Lieven already presented. A pair of receivers needs to be installed on each side of the entrance or exit. Each pair of satellite receivers consists of two individual satellite receivers which are interconnected with each other. Each pair of satellite receivers is connected to the ARGUS control unit. For best performance, each satellite receiver needs to be mounted as close as possible to the loop cable at the advised heights of 50 and 125 centimeters on each side of the entrance. You can see that again in the picture on the right hand side. This product would not be a typical cross-point solution without any connectivity. As you all know, connectivity is one of the best and most important tools to provide best service and information to retailers. Even in times of the COVID-19 pandemic, when we are all faced with all the restrictions, the travel restrictions, you can service your customers on a high quality level. And the ARGUS loop system is a typical cross-point product. Remote service is always enabled via the cross-connect cloud. Next to it, your customer can get a full insight in his stores and systems and check the performance. Via Device Explorer, the system is installed and configured in the store. With our cloud-based platform, remote service and management information can be provided from everywhere at any time. For those who are familiar with our systems and know about the cross-point field bus structure, all devices can be synchronized with each other with just one mouse click. All settings can be done at any devices as soon as they are connected to the cross-point CCAP on site of the store. For example, alarm notifications, IR settings can be done via that tool. In case of alarms, you and your customers has a full access to the alarm history of each system. Now, we would like to share some pictures of one of the first installations of the AM loop systems that we have done in the German-speaking area. Here you see our friendly colleague from our technical support of Crosspoint to fix Siena. Some of who will know him. First of all, the loop cable and satellite receivers are taped on the door frame. In the back, you see the yellow tape around that goes around the corner of the door frame. As this customer is using DR labels and the existing measures, all the measures of the exit are almost 3 by 3 meters. These tests that have been done are quite important in order to find out the best tuning and to increase the detection results by keeping a distance between the aluminium door frame and the loop cable. We also tested if the engine and the moving metal of the automatic sliding door at this entrance have any impact on the system. So depending on the results, we found out that by keeping 1 centimeter of distance to the metal, between the metal and the loop cable, will support an almost 100% detection with DR labels. Our partner mounted wooden baseboards that are about 1 centimeter thick on the door frame. On top of these baseboards, a thin cable conduit was installed. On the picture in the middle, you can see the thin loop cable that runs through the black cable conduit. On the third picture on the right-hand side, you see an example of this small connector box I was talking about a few minutes ago. Here in this small box, the shielded loop cable from the ARGUS control unit is connected with the loop antenna cable. In this case, the connector box was mounted close to the floor level. And this picture shows the fully completed installation, with no visible antennas anymore, but an almost 100 per second of detection. Let me summarize the unique selling points of our ARGUS AM loop system. It is an unobstructed and customer-friendly solution. Depending on the circumstances of the entrance or the exit, it can be easily installed, even if the store fitter will do some preparations on the door frame and the floor. The ARGUS loop system is a cross-connect enabled. That means it can be serviced remotely and delivers data to you and the end user via the Crosspoint cloud. There is an integrated jammer detection and text-to-close detection available next to all multi-audio or color alarm indications. How you can order this system? In our partner app, you will find the prices next to article numbers and further informations about the ARGUS loop system. If you order one set of the ARGUS loop system, you will get the full equipment that is needed to cover one entrance. That is, a control unit next to the PSU, the transmitter loop cable in the maximum length of 12 meters, and 2 pairs of satellite receiver antennas for both sides of the entrance. Please send your orders to our order administration team under orders@crosspoint.nl. Now, I would like to give the microphone back to Lieven, who will follow up with the main target groups that we want to talk to, and the FAQs that we know from our technical team, and of course with the questions that you already sent in. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you very much for this very clear presentation. Okay, the targets group. Who do we need to talk to? I think everybody understands that although during the presentation of Benjamin, he was using an example of a DIY store, we are convinced that most of the retailers that could be interested in this solution are luxury brands who are opening stores and who absolutely want to have a open entrance without these obtrusive, sometimes in their eyes, obtrusive antennas. So definitely luxury brands are the ones you need to approach with this new solution. And if technicians or technical people are also part of the audience, they will definitely agree with me when I say that installing a loop system is a bit easier doing that in a new shop than in an existing shop. But as you have seen in the example of Benjamin, it's of course also very much possible in an existing store. But I think when you see new shops, and especially for some of the areas like the Middle East, where complete new shopping malls determine a unobtrusive entrance in each individual store, approaching shopping malls where this kind of politics rules on how the shop should look like is definitely a key target group for this solution. And last but definitely not least, architects and store designers. Definitely when you are able to convince a architect, a store architect or a store designer to implement your solution into a complete design that then will be presented to the retailer customer, I think you agree with me that you will have less hurdles to take to convince the customer to buy in this solution. And so I would absolutely advise you to install and implement some marketing programs to approach these architects and store designers in your particular area. Let me touch on a couple of frequently asked questions. Can we extend the loop cable length? Well, I have to answer both with yes and no. If your customer is using DR labels, we will absolutely not recommend to extend the cable length. First of all, we will have a significant drop of the detection, but in case you are using hard tags, and that you can see here, by extending the cable length, you could have keep a good detection even more, and that's the danger. You could enlarge also in a very big way the detection field in the store. That means that you will enter into the possibility of having lots of unwanted alarms, because tagged merchandise will become too close, or will be in the position too close to the detection area. Also, when consumers are walking from the left side to the right side of the store, even quite far away from the entrance, they will walk into the detection area, and it will create unwanted alarms. So yes, it can be extended, but I'm not a big fan of this operation. Can it be reduced? Can the cable be cut? If my entrance is less, the total length of 2 times height, 2 times width is less than 12 meters, can I cut the cable? Yes, you can. You don't need to hide away the extra cable or roll it or do whatever, all kind of strange things. No, you can cut to the appropriate length that is needed to cover the complete entrance. So it can be cut to have it smaller. Do we need these satellites all the time? Yes, absolutely. The ARGUS loop system or installing the satellite receiver antennas with this ARGUS loop system is absolutely mandatory. Without them, you will have no detection. Should we install the receivers inside or outside the loop? Well, this doesn't matter. I think that most of the installations, the satellite antennas will be positioned outside the loop, but we have done several tests and we haven't seen any impact on the detection. So if for construction reasons it's better to install the receivers inside the loop, there should be no impact on the detection quality. Where do I find all the information and much more than what we have covered during this webinar? As you know, we have a data sheet available on our website. We have a complete technical manual. If you go to our website and you go to the tab Partners Login, you will be able to retrieve our technical manual. And of course, we have our partner app. I do want to make some more publicity and engage you and encourage you to use our partner app, because it's a very useful tool. You will find all kind of information, and we also included our leaflet and the product information of the ARGUS loop system in the partner app. For those who are interested in having a leaflet in their own language, as you know, we have this translation kits. So just send a mail to your sales manager and we will provide you a translation kit of this particular product. And once we receive then the translation, we will create for you a documentation sheet, a spec sheet in your own language. And if you want, we can also add your logo, company logo, to this sheet. Just send a mail to us if you're interested in that option. Okay, so let's go to some questions that were being asked by the audience. Okay, one of the things is problems with automatic door. Well, you have seen that during the presentation of Benjamin, Tufik, our colleague, did an installation on a automatic door in that do-it-yourself store, and it works well. We were able to, I was able to have some insight in the detection and false alarm rates on this particular system the day before, because the system is connected and we have 24/7 view on how it works, and it works perfectly. But what you have seen also is that they have mounted, or Tufik mounted, they did a test installation. They mounted the loop by using some tape, and I definitely encourage you to do that. Every time you want to install such a loop system, please install the loop and do some testing. I know from an experience that a automatic door can work very well in a very brand new automatic door. But if the automatic door, and especially the motor, the engines of the automatic door are having already quite some time, they are being installed for some years, there is some erosion on it, and that erosion can create some noise on the antenna. So it's absolutely mandatory, and I encourage you and recommend you to do some testing. Then there was a question from a partner, is the ARGUS loop available with a metal detector? No, it is not. Unfortunately, we cannot include a metal detector. And going back to the question before this, having this metal door, automatic door, you can imagine that every time the door goes open or closes, you will have an unwanted alarm. So no, unfortunately, we cannot implement a metal detection in this ARGUS loop system. So these are the questions that came in from the audience. I wanted to thank you for your attention. I wish you lots of good luck. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as we say in Crosspoint, keep calm and carry on. Bye-bye.